chosen one, listen carefully. What you are hearing right now is not filler, not background sound, not something meant to play while your attention drifts elsewhere. This is a moment heaven narrowed down for you. Out of the noise, the chaos, and the endless voices competing for your focus, God singled you out. Tonight is deliberate. Tonight is precise. Tonight carries weight. God says everything changes now, and the reason is deeper than you expected. Your family became the trigger. There are moments when God moves in response to obedience, quiet faith, and unseen surrender. But there are also moments when God moves because a boundary has been crossed, when something reaches heaven that cannot be ignored any longer. Tonight is not random timing. Something that happened within your family, something spoken, something done, something endured in silence, something tolerated for too long was brought before heaven's courtroom. Tears that fell where no one saw them. Prayers that were never spoken out loud. Decisions made while your heart was breaking. Endurance that cost you more than anyone knew. Heaven recorded it all. And God did not respond with advice. He responded with a verdict. That is why the atmosphere around you has felt heavy, intense, almost pressurized, yet strangely expectant. You sensed something ending, but you couldn't name it. You felt a shift, but you didn't have language for it. God is naming it now. What has followed your family for years is being confronted. Cycles that quietly passed from one generation to the next are being interrupted. Patterns that survived because no one knew how to stop them are losing their authority. What haunted your bloodline will not move forward with you. Not because you were strong enough, not because you fought perfectly, but because heaven stepped in. This word does not avoid real life. It goes straight into it. It touches family wounds you learned to manage. Family prayers that were whispered, not celebrated. Family mistakes that shaped how you see yourself. Family faith that survived even when answers didn't come. God is not overlooking your family. He is addressing it. And when God addresses a family, He does not do it partially. He brings endings. Assignments expire, doors close permanently, authority shifts. And those who survived the storm without losing their soul are entrusted with something new. What you are standing in now is not just about you. It is the result of intercession that began before you were aware of it. You are walking in the overflow of prayers you didn't pray, battles you didn't fight, and tears you didn't cry. Somewhere in your family line, someone cried out to God when everything felt like it was collapsing. Someone asked for mercy when there were no answers. Someone pleaded for a future when the present felt unbearable. They may not have known how God would respond, but heaven heard them. And God answered with you. God placed something inside you that was never meant to end with you. He positioned you not only to survive, but to shift what is possible for everyone connected to you. That is why the pressure has felt heavier than expected. That is why resistance has seemed disproportionate to the situation. You are not just navigating personal growth. You are standing at a generational intersection where old cycles can finally end and new paths can be established. This is not only your story. This is a family matter. Scripture reveals that when God chooses someone, it is never casual. It is intentional and strategic. God does not only work with individuals, He works through bloodlines. He sees patterns repeating across decades. He sees wounds passed down quietly. He sees callings delayed by fear and survival. And when He places His hand on one person, it is often because that person has the capacity to interrupt what has been repeating and establish what has been missing. You are carrying weight because God trusted you with it. You are feeling strain because something is shifting through you, not just around you. Your obedience matters beyond your own life. Your alignment echoes beyond rooms you will never enter. Your decisions speak on behalf of people you may never meet. Heaven positioned you in this generation because you could handle what others could not. You are not here by chance. You are the interruption. You are the hinge. You are the response to prayers that were never fully formed into words. God is precise. He is not emotional. He does not exaggerate. When He declares that change is happening now, it is not because He suddenly noticed your situation. It is because the appointed time has arrived. When God says a season is over, it is not paused, not extended, not renegotiated. It has expired. Heaven operates on timing, not sentiment. And when a season ends, it no longer responds to effort, explanation, or additional prayer. Every struggle has a time limit. Every delay has an expiration date. Every process is governed by divine order. Some seasons do not fade quietly. They end abruptly. One moment you are still enduring, still explaining, still holding on, and the next God says, "Enough." Not because you finally convinced him, but because the purpose of that season has been fulfilled. What overstayed its assignment is being cut off. What drained your strength beyond what it was meant to take is being lifted. What embarrassed your family, confused your identity, and repeated without resolution has reached its final page. This is not emotional relief. This is divine termination. Time ran out. Heaven's calendar determined this moment, not your performance. And when God closes a chapter like this, nothing can revive it. What comes next is not a continuation. It is a transition. The rules governing your life are changing. God is not only opening new doors, He is deliberately closing old ones that should have never stayed open this long. Patterns that were tolerated are being shut down. Struggles that were normalized are being confronted. Cycles that were explained away as just how our family is are losing their grip. God is not interested in temporary relief. He is bringing permanent resolution. One aligned life can unlock mercy for generations. One obedient yes can undo years of silent damage. One decision to move forward can interrupt what prayer alone never broke. Pressure is not proof of rejection. Pressure is proof of proximity. It means you were close to a shift, close to release, close to something that could not arrive quietly. God does not apply pressure to discard. He applies pressure to transform. Nothing significant is born without resistance. If nothing were changing, there would be no strain. What you felt was not failure, it was transition. The old was losing authority, and the new was demanding entrance. Tonight marks the turning point. Not the moment everything becomes easy, but the moment everything becomes different. What was ending has ended. What was forming is ready. And what comes next will make sense of everything you endured. God is not ending things to shame you. He is ending things to free you. What feels like loss is often clearance. What feels like an ending is often mercy in disguise. He is making room for what must come next. Your family will not end the way it started. What was normalized before you is being challenged now. You are standing at the edge of a new family narrative. What was delayed will be accelerated. What was broken will be rebuilt with wisdom and clarity. God is restoring hope, not as a feeling, but as a foundation. And the ending you feared is becoming the beginning you prayed for. This moment is not asking you to analyze. It is asking you to respond. Alignment is required at turning points. Heaven has decided. Now your belief, your obedience, and your movement forward allow that decision to manifest. Do not look back. Forward is where grace is moving. The old story ends here. Through you, something new begins. Chosen one, what God is doing now is not gentle. It is surgical, it is decisive, it is final. Heaven is not negotiating with what has already exhausted its purpose. God is not asking permission from old systems, old dynamics, or old authorities that ruled your past. He is overruling them. Right now, something that once had influence over your life is losing its legal right to remain. What once lingered because no one confronted it is being confronted by God Himself. This is why certain conversations felt heavier than they should have. This is why familiar environments suddenly became uncomfortable. This is why relationships you tried to preserve no longer responded to effort. Heaven was pulling you out while you were still trying to hold things together. God allowed the discomfort so you would not mistake this ending for rejection. It is extraction. He is removing you from what would have eventually destroyed your clarity, your peace, and your future. There are family patterns that do not break politely. They resist exposure. They survive through silence. They stay alive because everyone agrees not to talk about them. God is ending those agreements now. What stayed hidden under loyalty, tradition, or fear is being brought into the light, not to shame your family but to free the bloodline. Darkness loses authority when it is exposed, and God is exposing what no one else had the courage to confront. You may have felt guilty for wanting distance, conflicted for needing boundaries, questioned for refusing to carry what previous generations accepted as normal. But God says your discomfort was wisdom, not rebellion. Your refusal to fully conform was not pride, it was discernment. You were feeling the friction between who you were becoming and what your family system required you to stay. God is not punishing your family, He is interrupting a trajectory. Left unchecked, it would have continued through you and into the next generation. But heaven stepped in, and when God intervenes at the family level, it is because the consequences of delay became greater than the cost of disruption. Peace is expensive, but bondage is more costly. God chose freedom. Right now, spiritual authority is shifting. What once spoke loudly over your life is being silenced. Voices that shaped your identity through criticism, control, or emotional pressure are losing influence. Labels placed on you in childhood no longer define you. Expectations that confined you are collapsing. God is reclaiming your name. He is restoring your identity apart from family projections and inherited limitations. This is why resistance increased just before the breakthrough. Old systems always fight hardest when their expiration date arrives. What sensed its end tried to tighten its grip. Manipulation increased. Guilt intensified. Confusion spiked, but none of it worked. Heaven had already decided, and when God decides, no emotional appeal can reverse it. You are stepping into a season where obedience will require courage. God will not ask you to explain yourself to people who benefit from you staying the same. He will not require you to convince those who are threatened by your growth. Silence will be your strength. Consistency will be your defense. Fruit will be your confirmation. Understand this clearly. Elevation will cost you proximity. You cannot carry new authority while remaining entangled in old dynamics. God is severing unhealthy access, not to isolate you, but to protect what He is building through you. Some relationships will not survive this shift, not because of hatred, but because of incompatibility with where God is taking you. This next season will expose who was assigned to your past and who is permitted in your future. Pay attention to who celebrates your healing and who resents it. Watch who honors your boundaries and who tries to cross them. Discernment will save you years of unnecessary pain. God is also confronting the spirit of delay that operated in your family. Dreams postponed, potential suppressed, callings buried under responsibility and fear. That spirit is being broken now. You will move with momentum your family never experienced. Doors will open without the struggle they endured. Not because you are better, but because you are positioned after the interruption. You may feel unprepared for how fast things will begin to move. What took years before will happen suddenly. Opportunities will find you. Helpers will recognize you. Favor will locate you. This acceleration is not chaos. It is compensation. God is redeeming time. He is restoring years that were eaten by waiting, confusion, and emotional exhaustion. But acceleration requires discipline. God will demand clarity in your choices. What you tolerate now will determine what follows you forward. This is not the season to romanticize the past or revisit what God already closed. Nostalgia can reopen doors that were shut for your protection. Forward is safer than familiar. Your faith will be tested at a higher level, not through lack, but through abundance. Not through isolation, but through attention. Not through rejection, but through recognition. Success reveals character faster than struggle ever did. God is preparing you to steward influence without losing humility. There will be moments you are tempted to explain yourself. Resist it. God is your defender. When He elevates, He also vindicates. What was misunderstood will become obvious. What was questioned will be confirmed. What was mocked will be honored. This is also a season of emotional healing. Ones you buried to survive will surface to be healed. God will not allow you to build a future while bleeding internally. He is restoring your inner world so your outer life can remain stable. Tears you never had time to cry will finally be released. Grief you postponed will be processed, and peace will replace survival. Do not confuse grief with doubt. Mourning what was lost does not mean you regret obedience. It means you are human. God is gentle with your emotions even while He is firm with your destiny. He will walk you through this transition, not abandon you in it. You are also stepping into spiritual clarity. Confusion will lift. Mental fog will clear. You will hear God with greater precision. Discernment will sharpen. Distractions will lose appeal. Your priorities will realign. What once competed for your attention will no longer have power over you. This clarity will require you to choose differently. Some habits will no longer fit. Some conversations will feel empty. Some environments will feel draining. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. Growth always changes taste. God is restoring authority to your voice. You will speak with conviction instead of hesitation. Your words will carry weight because they come from healed places. You will no longer seek permission to be who God called you to be. Confidence will replace apology. This season will also test your patience with others. Not everyone will grow at the same pace. Not everyone will understand your decisions. Grace will be required, but compromise will not. Love does not require self-betrayal. What God is birthing through you will outlive you. This is legacy work. It is unseen labor that will benefit people you may never meet. The freedom you are stepping into will become normal for future generations. They will never know the battles you fought because you ended them. Heaven is watching how you steward this shift. Not to accuse you, but to partner with you. Angels are assigned to assist obedience. Favor responds to alignment. Protection surrounds clarity. Do not rush this season, but do not resist it either. Yielding will feel easier than striving ever did. Trust will replace anxiety. Rest will replace survival. This is the part where the story changes tone. Not because the past is erased, but because it no longer has authority. You are no longer defined by where you came from. You are defined by where God is taking you. What ends now ends completely. What begins now carries momentum. And the strength you are stepping into was formed in the pressure you survived. Stand firm, stay obedient, remain humble. The ending has already happened. The future is unfolding.